My friend John just posted a video, and it's not just posted. He posted a video a couple whiles back talking about how men can get DNA tests off of Amazon to test their children. They don't even have to tell the baby mom type shit. And he mentioned that in the comments there was reactions from women. Most of the reactions I saw was, "Why would you go and do that shit? He don't trust me," type shit. And the other ones weren't really rational arguments. They were just kind of hooping and hollering in the comments. I've said this a million times over the course of my social media platforms that I believe that DNA tests should be mandatory at the time of birth.
Mm.
Because if it's mandatory, then the woman's feelings don't get hurt about "man don't trust me," but then the man gets the 100% security of knowing that the person that he is about to be financially responsible for actually belongs to his genetic pool. You feel what I'm saying? And I caught a fuck ton of backlash on that one. But I think the bigger thing that people are escaping to remember here, if you are one of those women in the comments hollering about somebody DNA testing your kid, that gives me the belief that you are hiding something. And I'm not saying
I agree. They're probably hiding something. Because if you're not hiding something, why don't you want the man to do a DNA test to be sure he's? Because you know you are the mother. You know you have all the proof that you are the mother because the baby came out of your womb. But the man doesn't know. He's not sure. But you will find that women would be quick to put a man on child support. But then as soon as the man says, let's say do a DNA test, then they get offended. It's like, that's not fair. You want me to pay child support for a kid that I'm not sure, 100% sure is mine, but you don't want me to do a DNA test to make sure that actually the kid is mine? The kid is mine? Like, that's not fair. But they don't see it that way. They just see it like, oh, you think I'm not loyal? You think I'm a cheater? But it's not like, I don't care about all that. I just want to make sure.
saying that's necessarily the truth. Because if you take it to the fact that you're not hiding anything, but you're like, well, he doesn't trust me, put it this way. If the roles were reversed and the man was the one producing the child, right?
Yeah.
And you guys, could be the mom, maybe not be the mom, you would want that 100% certainty. It's not that far fetched of an idea.
Facts.
Anywho, as I said, I will stand 10 toes down on it. At the time of birth, it should be required. DNA testing, paternity testing should be required at the time of birth. Solves a lot of problems down the line. Have a day.
I agree because apparently in some states, let's say, so the woman gives birth and then you as a man, you allow her to put you on a birth certificate as a father and you haven't done a DNA test to make sure the kid are yours and you start paying child support and then 2 years, 3 years, you catch her cheating and then you're like, you know what, let me do a DNA test on my kids. In some states, the judge will still force you to pay child support for 18 years, even if they find out the kids don't belong to you. Because you are required to at least do a DNA test before you put your name on a birth certificate. So in some states, and I've seen these cases online, the judge is like, no, your name is on the birth certificate, the kids are used to you, you're gonna have to pay child support, even if they find out who the real dad is. So the real dad will sit back, she'll do nothing, and then you, as the man who was lied to by the woman, you keep paying child support. So I understand why some women don't want, DNA test at birth, because it really just may expose some of them. And some of you guys, I've said it before, some of you guys, the fathers that you think are your fathers are not your actual fathers. And that's because your mom told you so. And usually because those fathers didn't do any DNA test to find out. And in fact, I heard that in some countries like France, if a man does a DNA test behind the back of a woman, he could go to jail even if he finds out the kids are not his. But the fact that he did a DNA test behind the woman's back, he could go to jail, even if the kids don't belong to him. So it's funny. Clearly, they know some women are sleeping around with other men, and then they force those kids onto the men that don't belong to them, especially married women, because it's like she doesn't want the husband to think she was cheating. Let's go through the comments and see what the women think. It's always interesting. All right, let's see. Comment number 1. If she's tripping over a DNA test, then there's a chance she's hiding something. Facts. If she doesn't want you to do a DNA test, 99% chance she was cheating, or at least she messed around in some way. No one with authentic diamonds gets upset when the diamond testing machine is brought up. Okay, nice analogy. If you don't trust me, is the first line of gaslighting. Yeah, I trust you, and I trust you so much that I want to make sure that the kids are mine. So let's do a DNA test. You feel me? Yeah, equality feels like operation to those with a privilege. I know. 100 women verse 100 women verse paternity test is almost like 100 women, 100 men verse one gorilla, right? Let's say this is a woman, as a 40-year-old woman that doesn't know her father, have been saying mandatory paternity test at birth should be made a law. And this is what I just said. 40-year-old woman doesn't know who the father is. And some women don't even know who the father is because they may have like a threesome. They may have like a train in one night. Maybe they were drunk. I don't know, whatever the case. They had a couple guys in the same night, so they're not sure. So that's why paternity tests at birth would help. You know, as soon as the kid comes out, they test the kid. They test the guy who's there, you know, the father, the guy who's around for the birth, and they just make sure he's the father. You know, I think this would save so much, but women don't like it. Also make sure the hospital gives you your baby, by the way. Mistakes have been happening at almost every hospital. Yeah, I've heard about that where they change babies. The way they switch babies for some reason, I don't know why. Another good thing to mandatory paternity test is ensuring that the hospital doesn't accidentally switch babies. Yeah, I just talked about that. They will understand checking his phone or location to give them a sense of security, but can't extend the same understanding to a man wanting to be sure his kids are his. Facts. I 100% agree, man. What do you guys feel about paternity testing at birth? And some of you guys are scared of asking your women for DNA tests because she's going to hit you with, you don't trust me. And some of you guys are actually scared of testing your own kids because there's, 80% chance the kids are not yours, but you are scared of finding out the truth. So what you do, you just don't do DNA tests. So you put yourself on having to support kids that you know they don't even look like you. You know, some of those kids, you know, she messed around with your cousin and your brother and they look like you, but that's because, you know, you look like your brother. So hey, I don't know.